What's up everyone, and welcome to another Tuesday Tips, and today we're going to be talking fog machines. Surprisingly, no, not just for horror scenes. I know that's the first thing your mind will jump to, and I don't blame you because they look amazing in every horror scene. We're going to talk more about the different ways you can use it to add a massive amount of depth to the shot and overall make it more interesting and appealing to the eye. Alright, so before we hop into explaining everything I want to explain, first I just want to show you it. It's the VF1100 American DJ fog machine. Extremely cheap, like bullshit cheap. Holds a good amount, heats up pretty quick. You get a 1.5-minute burst on each one, which I kind of like. What's also nice is if you do buy it, not only is it cheap, but I was pretty shocked. It did come with 4 liters of their fog juice, and it conserves it pretty well when you're using it. I filled up an entire room and I haven't had to fill the thing yet. But I also picked up some high density fog juice, but we'll get into the high density and why I chose to buy it. So the first thing I want to talk about is adding atmosphere to a shot. Just overall adding depth to an entire shot just by thickening up the air a little bit, having it bounce off the light. So first I want to show you a scene that I shot, super amateur, super horrible. I would never recommend shooting a film, but it's going to show you the biggest impact on it because bad footage really shows you how much something can be used and pushed to its limits. So this is a shot of my living room. It's horrible. You can tell your eyes just instantly just say, I don't want to be here. Nothing entertains that happening. Obviously it looks amateur. It was shot crappy, but overall it does look like a super amateur, unappealing shot. Now we're gonna add some fog to the room, and right off the bat you can see the depth, I love the way the light like wraps into the fog a little bit, and it overall I feel just gives it a more stylized look. Now you can kind of play around with this a little bit in the color correction and grade. I just threw a quick one on there just to kind of show you with a little bit of color what kind of difference it does. Same color correction, same grade, same setting, same angle, same everything. But if we were to color correct it, let's say blue, you get that nice ominous horror feel like we were talking about at the beginning. If we go orange, then we get a more like I'm moving in feel. If you want to add some pink tones to it, you get a romantic feel, and so on down the list. A director that's really big on him, and we all know him, is Steven Spielberg. He uses it in almost every movie, and now that I told you about it, you're gonna start watching all his movies and be like, God damn it, all I see is fog now. But if you use it right, I went a little heavy on that scene. Obviously, you should dial it back a little bit, and you're able, I feel it just gives it a softer look overall. It just gives it like a cinematic touch. And if you take your time color correcting, grading, and setting that shot up with the fog, the possibilities are going to be endless on what you can do with just the atmosphere alone. To get that shot, I pretty much just let the fog machine heat up. I sprayed a couple spurts into the air, and then I turned on the fan that was above it, but you can just bring in any fan. I just so happened to have one over there, so it all worked out in the end. And just let it run for a couple minutes. You don't want any of the ripples of the actual fog in the air, because then it's going to give it that actual fog look, and you're just trying to add the atmosphere to it and not like, you know, get the ripples and turn into a horror film all of a sudden. That wasn't your goal. Unless that is your goal, then go for it. The next thing we're going to talk about is just the practical effects. We're not getting into horror yet, we're working our way there, believe me. But the practical effects is really just hooking tubes up to your fog machine and just having it run like maybe out of vents or up out of sewer caps, or if you wanted to imitate a fire. Yeah, there's a lot of practical effects if you want that Sin City look where he's walking down the alleyway and you always see the smoke coming out of the side of the buildings and stuff. It makes no sense. I don't know, I haven't been in New York City, but the photos I've never seen just random smoky alleyways, but it looks sexy, and that is the point of this. It's just to give it that super cinematic thing that just makes every scene extremely interesting. Another cool tip that I like with these fog machine is shooting flashlights or laser pointers. Whether you got medium light or you're doing a complete black scene, the way it streams light and you can actually see the stream of light itself, you notice every single movie has it. It could be like a decent lit scene and all of a sudden you still see the laser pointers even though you got lights, so you shouldn't see the laser pointer. It just looks incredible. It just adds so much to a scene. It's time, guys. It's horror film time. What the hell am I holding in my arms right now? What is this dragon looking cardboard box with random vent things going on in here? This is a fog cooler that I built. I will explain how to build it for yourself because these things are weirdly expensive to buy. They instantly hit up the $100, and above, and I'm not really sure why when you see the concept. We'll start off by showing you what this looks like when it goes through this box contraption. And if you notice, it stays nice and low to the ground. It's golden for them graveyard scenes, them classic horror scenes, or maybe you walk into a room and for some reason there's always a thick layer of fog on the ground. You don't know how the fog got there, but your mind says, damn, this is gonna be scary. The concept behind this, why it stays low to the ground, is you need to cool the fog extremely quick so it instantly becomes thicker and heavier to the outside air. That will cause it to stay. Now eventually it will start to heat up and it will start to raise. That's why outside grave scenes are going to be golden, because you have an infinite sky amount, so as it's rising it's not going to ruin the shot. When you do it inside, it is kind of annoying because you have to open the windows, let some of the fog out, then go again. A little fog in the air never hurt though, because like I said, with the atmosphere, I think it just adds more. But you want to be able to see clearly in the top and keep most of that fog in the bottom. So I recommend getting your house to like 70, 72 degrees, and then trying to cool it down as much as you can. So now I'm going to explain how to build this thing. Get a box of some sort. It does not have to be cardboard, it can be a bin, it can be anything that's going to contain that fog in there and not let it escape. I still recommend putting a blanket over the top, even if you do got something, because fog is super thin and will be able to leak through any crack in this. So you really want to seal this up. And the first thing you'll want to do is cut an opening, a hole, for the front of the fog machine so it doesn't escape. It goes directly into the box. I would recommend getting a cup or something. That's what I put on the front of my fog machine so I can kind of slide it in there a little bit easier. It gives it a little bit more length on it. Then on the other side, you're going to want to put a couple vents, and you're going to want to make sure you put enough vent so it can actually escape the box. Just don't make them too big, because like I said, it has to be able to still cool it. You just don't want to get it so it starts, you know, filling up too much and really leaking out the sides and stuff. That is going to make it just annoying. On the inside, you can wrap aluminum foil on it. I chose to do it because if the walls get a little bit colder, that's just an easier method to cool it down a little bit quicker. Now the next part is the water bottles. I use water bottles. I think it's better than ice because you can throw them in your freezer or leave them outside if it's winter. It freezes multiple up. It's super clean. You carry them around in the cooler, so if you have a movie shoot, it's a little bit easier than getting bag ice that's gonna melt. This was a trial and error, but it ended up taking a crap ton of water bottles to cool this down. This was insane to actually cool this down quick enough, because remember, this is a 1,000-watt fog machine, which is nice because you want to be able to kick a lot of fog out and go for longer bursts, but 1,000 watts gets it pretty damn hot. So even when it's cooling out of the design I have, you'll notice it's still a little bit warm. I guess it's time to talk about this bad boy right here, which is the high density fog, which I really like. Compared to this one, this is good for atmosphere scenes, all the practical effects. This will be able to pull off almost all of those shots without any problems at all. So if you don't have the money, like 12 bucks or however much this is, don't even worry about it. You're gonna be able to you can pull this down, everything. This one right here though already comes out super thick and dense compared to that one. So when you cool this one, this will stay on the ground for, I guarantee, about 2 minutes longer than that other fog wall. And if you're shooting in a house, this can be the debate whether you're gonna, have to open your windows 150 times or just 50 times. So I do recommend picking this up. I did test them both and I can totally tell that this stuff is pretty good. I'll put a link of this down in the description too, if I remember. So if you do want the high density stuff, I personally recommend it. I do think it does make a massive difference. So if I haven't showed you a scene where I'm personally using it rather than just showing you scenes from other movies, I shot a video for my 100th video, and I kind of used this for, it was a comedy, but it went into a horror scene. And as you can see, it's just like a super thick thing, the way the guy kicks in the door and you got the depth up in the air, but then as he hits the ground, or the beginning scene when it started, you get that nice, thick layer on the ground. Alright, so I hope that helped you. I hope that really expanded maybe your horizon to things you were doing. Maybe you were trying to do like a color correction or grading. Grading most likely, or VFX to get similar effects. I don't feel effects give you the same practical feel as fog in the atmosphere does, or on the ground. They always seem to be a little bit off. It's like your subconscious can catch it. So I'm hoping you guys like this video, and if you have used fog machines, good, bad experience, whatever your experience was, leave it down in the comments. Help the community out like always. And if there's anything else you want me to talk about, or if you see an equipment or a video or something that you want to achieve that same look, leave that down in the comments and I will definitely make a video on it and see if we can achieve this together. But until next time, guys, peace!